Hi, everybody, and welcome to Lovefraud Live. The U.S. and much of the world has been shut down because of the coronavirus pandemic for going on 3 months now. Some areas are finally starting to reopen, although New Jersey, where I am, is still thoroughly locked down. I'm Donna Andersen, author of Lovefraud.com, and today I'm going to share what we've heard from people who are dealing with sociopaths during the pandemic. When the stay-at-home orders started, I made a video called Sociopaths, Chaos, and the Coronavirus. I predicted that sociopaths would engage in the following behaviors. First of all, coronavirus scams, such as trying to sell bogus cures or vaccines. Secondly, failure to follow public health recommendations because many sociopaths engage in reckless behavior. Third, excessive worry about getting sick themselves because other sociopaths are hypochondriacs. Fourth, if you got sick, the sociopath would not take care of you. Fifth, scams of government support programs like the enhanced unemployment. And sixth, increased online activity, including dating apps and looking for sex hookups. So what exactly have sociopaths been doing during the coronavirus pandemic? Last week I told you that my colleagues and I are running an online survey to collect data on disordered behavior. If you'd like to fill out the survey, there's a link in the description below the video window. You can describe your experience with people in a variety of relationships, whether they're romantic partners, family members, work colleagues, or friends. So far, we've received about 200 responses to the survey. People have told us some shocking stories, and tonight I'll share a few of them with you. Here's one from a man who actually did get the coronavirus, and he's describing his wife's behavior. The individual is my wife, who does not like to grocery shop and would purposely buy the incorrect things or not buy the things on the list. I ended up having to do all of the shopping, and when I tried to go out as little as possible, she began sending me more frequently. So then, in the question about abuse during the lockdown, this is what he says. She was constantly gaslighting, getting upset over any slight feeling of disrespect, verbally abusive to my daughter, who is not related to her because her college closed and she did not want her in the apartment. She was worried about herself or the babies, our 2-year-old twins, contracting the virus. She did not want my other biological child around. So when she asked me where I was going to go when I told her that I had symptoms. She refused to allow me to self-quarantine in the house. She said I was selfish to make her watch the babies alone. She was constantly belittling me for not helping while I had a cough and body pains. So there's another story. Now here's one from a story who is attempting to co-parent with her ex-husband. She says, I had the children, joint custody, over the school break holiday. The Sunday before he was supposed to get the kids, he texted me to say that he had been quarantined because he had been around someone with COVID-19, and he would not be able to take the kids for the next 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, that Monday, when he was supposed to take the kids that night, he texted me to say that he was having gastrointestinal issues and asked if I wanted him to pick up the kids. I told him that if the health department hadn't commented on it, because when in quarantine, they would be contacting him daily about temperature checks and possible symptoms, then I wasn't overly concerned. 1 week later, on a Monday, that was when he was supposed to take the kids that night, he texted me a link to his confirmed COVID ID testing session. I texted him back asking him to let me know if he's experiencing symptoms, and if so, when they started, and that we should let the daycare providers know. He responded that his only question was if I wanted him to pick up the kids that night or not. I texted him that I couldn't answer that without additional information, and he texted that he wasn't going to tell me anything about his health. So, since he didn't have any test result yet, I told him that he should pick up the kids. I let the daycare know because I didn't want them to be exposed, and they said that they wouldn't let our children back at the daycare until they received confirmation of a negative test. When he was pressed about it, he laughed in their faces. A few days later, he texted me that it was all a joke. I had been frantic, crying, scared that I was sending my kids to his house and that the 3 kids would be exposed to this virus and there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. So he obviously did that just to get her upset. All right, so here's another story. A woman in her 50s recently married a man who has psychopathic traits, and now she's stuck with him. So here's what she wrote about his behavior during the coronavirus. He traveled as usual, did not at any point use protective gear such as gloves, masks, although they were in his possession. He did hide the masks until that we had so that they were not available for me to use. He stole toilet paper from the facility. Here we go, one of these toilet paper people. He stole toilet paper from the facility where he works repeatedly in large volumes, even though he makes a high salary. There were no groceries in our house at all. They also supplied him with dinner every day, as they do all the staff, yet he still removed food from the facility while claiming to have worked overtime. The food, of course, was only that which he could consume. He has continued to stay on some sort of dating site, and he has managed to take over 45 Viagra pills since March. I learned by monitoring his pharmacy. I, of course, sleep in another room, being nothing other than a roommate to this beast of humanity. I have all the bills in my name. We were married a short time and relocated quickly for his new job, leaving me to set up new utilities and insurance, housing, etc. I also opened credit cards for various reasons and services. He will not help pay for any of this, and I had just received my social disability lump sum. I don't know how to get away from him since he took all of my money. I feel enslaved, and this is the United States. Life is so stressful. So, those are some of the stories that we've received. There's lots more. In general, our results so far, one of the questions that we asked in the survey was whether or not the person was engaging in abuse, and if so, was it the same level of abuse or more or less? So 46% of our respondents said they've been experiencing the same level of abuse during the pandemic, and 36% said that the person has been more abusive. Most of our respondents have been people who are talking about their romantic partners, either their spouse or ex-spouse or former or current partners. So anyway, that's what's going on with sociopaths during the pandemic. As you can see, that the behavior pretty much is in line with what I had predicted. So let's take a look at the questions and see what else we have going on tonight. Okay, so Shari says, this is a good news, I suppose. The pandemic saved my life. I was going to be the sociopath, but we had to wait. I realized what he was and went no contact, so it saved my life. Well, Shari, that's really good. Glad to hear that. At least something good has come out of this. Okay, Monica agrees with that. She says that the COVID-19 pandemic was good for her, slowed down the sociopaths in her life. Okay. Well, it looks like we had some good news out of the sociopathic pandemic for some people. I'm glad that that worked out, and hopefully the rest of us are staying safe and getting our lives back to normal sooner rather than later. So thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of Lovefraud Live. See you then. Bye-bye.